But then, let us keep welcoming you into the activities that we have instead to do. Well, as it is our tradition here, we'll definitely give you what we have on Anambra ABS website before we come down to introduce our guest this lovely morning on the papers that we'll be discussing. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Without much ado, let us introduce our guest that we have this morning that will be helping us with the review for papers this morning. And we have Ejike Abata, who happens to be a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Ejike.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
And also we have Comrade Emandi Ezinago, a public affairs analyst. Glad to have you,
Good
Emandi.
morning. Thank you for having me.
And quickly, let us go to ABS website to give you the papers that we have, the news that we have for you this morning. The first news we have is Solution FC beat Giant Brilliance in March day 15 of the 2023-2024 NNL League. And victim of masquerade attack, Okoye, buried at Umuawulu in Oka South Council area. ACDA vigilante groups dislodge illegal occupant of uncompleted building over security concerns. Quickly, well, we'll say kudos to the Solution FC in their match day 15 win over Giants Brilliance. Well, I was expecting Giants to be over Solution, but then seeing Solution FC triumphing over Giant Brilliance means there are some giant strides Solution FC are really making in the 2023-2024 National Nigerian League. Quickly, let's go into this. Is that a story to be successful or to be happy about? I am Ejike Abata.
The sports story?
Yeah.
Sure, it's a commendable one. Everybody yearns for victory. And no matter how small they come, victory is a victory after all. So commend the Solution FC team, from the management of the team, the coaches, the players, and the supporters as well, who take out time to go cheer the team up. We hope this will be a beginning of better things to come. We hope to see, because it's been long. We last saw a team from Anambra.
Exactly. That was even the reason why this team was even giving birth to.
So we hope they'll continue climbing the ladder till they get promoted to the Premier League.
To the Premier League.
Professional Football League in Nigeria. So it's a good one. Kudos to them.
That's good. Victim of masquerade attack, Okoye, buried at Umuawulu in Oka South Council. Wow. This comes as a shocking story, but then, what can we say? Though the case is being handled by the Women Affairs and the state, trying to see into what really transpired between the masquerade and then the 70-year-old man that lost his life because he refused to, will I say, give the masquerade some money. Emandi, what's your take on that?
It's quite, I think the incident happened
on the 25th of Christmas, December last year.
December last year. And the case has been going on because the family demanded for justice. Yeah. Yes. And we also want to commend the government, the state government, on the processes that they've gone by in the matter. And we also pray that the soul of the late Okoye rest in peace, and the family should take solace as this incident has already happened, and let the family and also the people of Umuawulu and Anambra be hopeful that justice will be made as soon as possible. And also I want to comment that it's also in this our beloved state where people get justice. I know that I've read and I've seen so many times when people demand for justice and they get it. So we pray that the family of the late Okoye will get justice in this. matter.
The state has even assured that justice will definitely be given to them, and then appropriate measures be taken against such events reoccurring in the future. Well, the last story we have on our website seems a little bit interesting, but at the same time worrisome. ACTA vigilante group dislodge illegal occupant of uncompleted building over security concerns. I'm sure residents of Awka will understand that any uncompleted building inhabited by anybody will definitely have people occupying it. And now coming to see that the Awka Capital Territory Development Agency, which is ACTA, is coming up to say, wow, we don't need such illegal occupants around this building. But my concern is, when you push these people off this uncompleted building, do you check to know where they go? That's my own concern. So what's your take on this, Ejike?
So whether we like it or not, provided there are uncompleted buildings, people must inhabit them, whether we like it or not. And then more so, this particular one even had a security man there. It was even the security man who allowed the occupants. And I heard they were numbering about 300 from different tribes and across the country, especially from the north. And of course, such an environment is a haven for
all sorts of crime
to happen. That is where the problem lies, and it's a good one that they were dislodged. But like you mentioned, so where are they going? As it stands now, it is for them to look for the next available uncompleted building, because a man must have shelter over his head. You understand? So they must look for another alternative. And if they had the money, they would have rented an apartment. But because of their lifestyle, you understand? Because of their lifestyle, they're nomadic in nature. They don't have the time to rent an apartment, and even if they rent an apartment, who would want to give them an apartment because of their nature?
And the number at which they occupy.
You understand? This is not, I'm not denigrating anybody. I'm stating the obvious facts here. So you give, let one person into your apartment, the next month you have about 10 or 15 of them in there. So it's a huge problem. Now that they've been dislodged, they will definitely look for the next available building to occupy.
Not to occupy.
One would have thought that there would have been an arrangement, because we are only delaying doomsday as it stands. But if there had been an arrangement, okay, stay here for now, then if they should leave that place, they will be apprehended and prosecuted. But as it stands now, they are wandering around. Some of them will even occupy people's houses without even the people knowing. Even houses that are not even uncompleted, houses that are completed, because we have buildings in Anambra whom the occupants don't even stay there. They only come in once in a year, probably in December, and they go back. So such persons might occupy such building and you won't even know. So it's a problem.
Well, thank you so much for that submission. Quickly, let's get into the first paper that we have for review this morning, which happens to be the Nigerian Tribune. And then the banner headline is still talking about the electricity tariff Senate to wade into as NEF knocks federal government. And then we have a Consumer Protection Forum gives next 72 hours to reverse hike. Agboho sues Gani Adams over alleged defamation, demands 500 million for damages. EFCC to arraign Bobrisky for alleged currency abuse. And UCH resident doctors not part of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. working condition. That's coming from the president. Ondo 2024, APC should not be polarized. Party chairman warns. Ayedetiwa submits form. I am ready for any form of primary, Jimo Ibrahim says. And Eniko women canvasses for Ondo South and backs okay. Expectations high over Olubadan designate. The rider there says, may be seen today, Ibadan elders, CCII meet Ladoja, other kingmakers. Fubora rejects list of Rivers PDP caretaker committee, says it favors Wike's camp. Well, I think we've heard a whole lot about this Wike and Fubora stuff. Because of what time, let us quickly go to the next one, then we'll now do both papers together. The Nation this time around, and Tinubu talking about the economy on growth path, inflation to go down. And the writer says borrowing was higher a year ago, but today revenue is rising. Police applicants for medical screening. EFCC to arraign Bobrisky for abuse of Naira. Troops seize 21 million liters, 210 metric tons of stolen crude. Discos get marching order on power supply. Regulators takes hard stance. Rumpus in PDP over caretaker committees in states and councils. Lagos MOT men brutalize the nation drivers and impound vans. And then we have NIMET wants Nigerians to brace for heat stress. Binance chief trial stalled. That you'll find on page 28 of the Nation newspaper. Quickly, this electricity tariff we're talking about, it's been making the headline for the past this week. And then the shocking thing there is that in a country where you barely even have electricity and then somebody is coming without even thinking of what the impact will be to the economy, increasing tariff to 240%. Well, glad to see that the Senate is asking the NET, Consumer Protection Forum is asking NEC to reverse that hike in 72 hours. Emandi, do you see this giving us the desired result, bearing in mind that even the NEC came up to say that the reason of the hike is because of the increment in gas procurement in order to power the turbines? And what's your take on that?
Before I come into that, I want to first mention that I believe that sometime few months ago, that one of the agencies in charge of power, and that the federal government was, or should I say, the federal government were on the verge to take the contract from them based on the amount that they are owing, and it was given to Disco to continue. And Disco promised that they will meet target and give revenue to the federal government. And today, what is happening? We cannot even boast of 2 hours power supply in this country, and people are talking about high tariffs. Whereas, I've said it before, that whereas even the minister in the ministry, in the budget that the Ministry of Power brings, I keep asking, what do they do there? Because the budget that they always bring, the funds being released to them includes provision of power supply, the maintenance, and to ensure that there is power in this country. Now,
you mean to upgrade the facilities in order for...
Yes, it's always in the budget, and the federal government gives to them. Have you ever heard that that a budget was passed in this country and a specific amount was given for the budget, and at the end of the day, the Senate didn't approve that amount? Or have you ever heard that at the end of the day, let's say for example, that the budget was 100 naira, and end of the day, that what was given to the executive arm of the government to carry out their activities for the year will be 50 naira? Have you heard of it before? Because everything that they present in the budget, the funds are being released. Now, the Minister for Power, what is your say? Or the funds, what are people doing with it? Disco, what are people saying? Then the zonal electricity power, like the EDC and the rest of them, how do you people generate? So these are the people that have to, that are supposed to come together, and we have a lasting power supply. And the solution, wow. This is that they're saying that it's just flimsy excuse that diesel. even the Minister of Power knows that in the budget procurement or whatever thing that these funds are being released. What do they do with the funds?
Well, that's interesting to know. Quickly, AGK, it's almost a year in office from the last elections that we had, and then in Rivers State, Fubara and his godfather are still having loggerheads. Are you sure progress is going to be witnessed in that part of Nigeria anytime soon until these big wigs decide to sheath their sword? And what's your take on the head that we are seeing today in the dailies where they are still dragging themselves left and right, talking about list that favors Wike, list that ought to favor Fubara? Then what is the interest of bringing dividends of democracy to these people of River State? What's your take on that, please?
Yes, I also like to talk about the increment in electricity. But to what your question, whether Wike likes it or not, the number one, the helmsman in River State today is Fubara. And then Wike should take it and then mind his business in Abuja. When Wike was governor, nobody truncated in his administration. Nobody gave him so much headache as he's giving to Fubara. He even had a fallout with his supposed godfather, then was Rotimi Amechi, who brought him to power. So, you know, it is said that Kama has everybody's address. So what you do to one man, you should expect it in return. That was what happened. Wike, Amechi was the one who brought Wike to limelight from River State. And then he made him governor. He first became minister, then he became governor, and they had a fallout. Heaven did not fall. Now, Fubara is the governor of River State. Wike should allow Fubara to run River State as the governor of River State. You can't have two captains in a ship. Wike is the minister of FCT now. He should face his portfolio as a minister and allow Fubara run his local politics. If it's unfortunate that the constitution does not allow for elongation of power after 8 years, I know Wike would have wanted to still remain as governor, but his time has come and gone. You should allow Fubara to run River State as the governor of River State. And stop, because as it stands now, it is said that when two elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. It is the people of River State who will suffer. And as Fubara also will have every reason to give for not performing, because all these things are distractions.
Of course.
So
you begin to wonder, what is even the work schedule of Wike in Abuja? Does it mean that Abuja is not tasking enough for him, that he is concentrating on what's happening in River State?
He has his foot soldiers in River State. He has those who are very loyal to him, and he wouldn't blame Fubara, because Fubara himself will have to guard his loans. You don't allow an enemy into your environment and then think all will be well. No. Fubara knows what he is doing, and even though he once said he's ready to relinquish the seat, which I know it's mere blabbing. He's a black man, so no such thing has ever happened. If he happens to do that, then he will get all the kudos and cheers, but I don't see that ever happening. I don't see him relinquishing power. But the bottom line is that, as it stands today, Fubara is the number one man in River State. Wike should allow him run River State the way it ought to be, and then stop the whole distractions.
Thank you. Let's go to the next paper for review this morning.
Happens to be The Guardian. The banner headline is talking legacy of international tourneys. How hosting mega events failed to catalyze infrastructural development. And slain soldiers, arms, ammunition in Okuma still missing, military says. 41 killed, 222 kidnapped, 88 million ransom paid in Kaduna, Niger group laments. Naira firms as CBN auctions 625 billion OMO bills at 21%. Electricity tariff hike in crosshairs as opposition intensifies. EFCC to arraign Bobrisky for 180.7 million naira money laundering. Wow. Tinubu tax ECOWAS Parliament on unity backs direct election. M.O. Abudu joins International Emmys Board, vows to champion African stories. Police ignore court order on remand of Lagos businessman. Navy arrests 14 oil thieves, seizes over 210 million tons of crude oil. And then the Punch newspaper quickly. 12 states plan power projects. Anger spreads over tariff hike. And the writer says, State Domestic Electricity Act seek NEC approval to float regulatory bodies commercialize power. Kano says, power company, 90% completed. Lagos Nasarawa Kebbi confirmed talks with private sector partners. Kano government charges Ganduje wife with $413,000 over $1 billion bribery. Wow, this is astonishing. EFCC stopped service of charges on Binance chief. Federal Internal Revenue alleges. Gani Adams ready for Igboho's 500 million legal battle. That's coming from the aid. How I gave birth on Lagos BRT. That's a woman. Debt servicing gulps Ondo Oshun, 2 others allocations. 141 terror cases, 214 kidnappings recorded in 8 weeks. That's coming from the Inspector General of Police. And then manufacturers lose 1.5 trillion naira to forex crisis in 6 months. That's coming from Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN. FG to issue domestic dollar bonds come June. Quickly, you can see the banner headline of The Guardian talking about how hosting mega events fail to catalyze infrastructural development. All over the world, countries, regions, jostle to host events, sporting events, so as to bring development of sporting arenas to that locality and then generate income for the economy of that areas. But here we're talking about, in Nigeria's own case, the ripple effect of hosting tournaments is not what we see in other climes. Ejike, what do you think could be the problem of that of Nigeria? Because we've hosted events, World Cups, All Africa Games, and yet we're still having debt of infrastructural development in this part of the world.
Maintenance has always been our bane in Nigeria. We lack maintenance.
When you spend billions to build infrastructures?
Yes, we spend billions and show the world we can do it. And then the moment the guest athletes, the moment they bought the airplane to leave to their respective countries, we abandon those facilities and they go into rot and ruins. That is our nature in Nigeria. That is who we are. After all, we can always dip our hands. Either we dip our hands into our coffers or we borrow money when next we want to host another competition. Whereas we are supposed to maintain the ones we have. If you look back, Nigeria hosted the Junior World Cup in 1995. What happened to the facilities since then? We have a national stadium, which has now been renamed Moshood Abiola Stadium in Surulere, Lagos. What has become of that stadium? Even the new one, so to say, that we have in Abuja. What is the state of that facility in Abuja? And several other ones. The stadium in Kano, the one in Enugu. Thank goodness for the Premier League matches that are being held there. If not, those facilities as well would also be in ruins. We lack maintenance culture. We are always ready to fall back on what we have, reserve, get money there, build another one, then we'll move on. It is nobody's business because building a new one will fetch more money into private pockets than maintaining the old ones or the ones here. These are supposed to be legacies that will remain over time. Do you know where Maracana Stadium in Babi was built? I started hearing of Maracana Stadium when I was in junior secondary school. And Maracana Stadium is still standing till today. And I know it's way older than the National Stadium.
National Stadium was built in the 80s.
Yeah,
I mean, the 70s or thereabouts.
You can imagine. But Maracana Stadium still stands out as one of the best stadiums in the world. But here in Nigeria, we build our own, we abandon it, we go and build another one because we don't have that maintenance culture. And this is why everything is being privatized. Even privatization says it doesn't seem to be the solution because other facilities that have been privatized, what has become of them? Generally, our problem is maintenance, and whether we like it or not, it falls back on the leadership of the country. We don't have people who are committed to get things done. We don't have people who are committed to seeing this country move forward. If not, why would we spend billions in constructing such facilities? And we even hosted Chogum. What became of the facilities used? It's a sad reality.
Well, really, really sad there for Nigeria, but then let's believe that subsequent governments will know how to build and then maintain. And quickly, let's see the banner headline of our Punch newspaper. Well, this happens to be something that we should be hurrahing
about because 12 states plan power project anger spreads over tariff hikes. Now, I think it's high time, while we're talking side by side, state policing, states should now think of how to generate power for the local development of their respective states. Emandi, you're in support of these big stories that we are seeing. 12 states, well, that's large. If 12 states can develop their own private power generation, I think in no time we should be having 24-hour uninterrupted power supply. Would you say kudos to the governors that have deemed it necessary, or do you say that we are coming out of the woods very soon?
I would say kudos to the governors because, in this part, we'll say that it came on or it arrived to this situation because the federal government in one way or the other has failed to do what is right. And when they try to do what is right, there is no checkmate of these policies. They don't checkmate all these things because I believe that these people in power, they don't experience this power outage. That is why they don't have any idea.
They do, because in one of the
press reviews that we've had here, you understand, there was a case where we read about Aso Rock, Army headquarters, and the rest owing 47 billion naira.
Wait.
That's the electricity bill, 47 billion. That was the discourse shouting that government, please pay us this money that you owe us.
I'm not talking about the money that I'm talking about the outage.
They do
it is it. even when it, let's say for example.
So you're telling me that light doesn't go off at
Aso Rock? It doesn't.
Aso Rock has its own power plant. Anyway.
Yes, they do. And also, even in these big weeks that we have in this country, even in their homes, if there is no power
outage.
If there is power outage, there is a standby generator that gives power. And when they come in, they don't know if it is electricity or generator, because I know that I've been close to some of them. So once there is light, they believe that. So they don't. Is working. Yes. Now, for these states to do their own, is a, should I say, is bad. Is a bad name to the federal government. By now, the federal government should wake up. It is a sign that they have failed in this power aspect. And the rate Nigeria at this stage shouldn't be talking about power outage or power or tariff hike or this kind of a thing at this level. We shouldn't be talking about that. At least we know that there are one or two countries that we help to supply power. They don't even have power outage. They don't even have this law that Nigeria cannot even boast of 2 hours power supply. And you are telling me that we've outgrown this. We've outgrown this level. So if the state governors or different states see and say, the federal government is no longer helping us, it's not left for us to help ourselves, because power is one of the things that causes high cost of goods in this country. Because if you check the amount that you buy diesel or even petrol, if you check the amount, you find out that at the end of the day, the manufacturers or the producers, there will be hike in production. At the end of the day, who will bear the heat? The final consumers. That is it. But when there is steady power supply, and the tariff rate is affordable, not giving us steady power supply and giving us a hike in the tariff. So these two things will not go. So if the state governors know that they can handle it and provide, after all, some state governors are even been doing it even before now, even before making the noise. I know that there are some areas in some localities where the state government will come and say, okay, in this particular area, let us do it this way. And you find out that there will be power supply in this area. So they can handle it. Is a kudos to them. And it's now time for the federal government to wake up on that aspect.
Well, thank you.
Let me quickly chip in. As regards the hike in tariff, I was opportune to speak with Emeka, who is a communications officer at EUDC yesterday. And he explained that, first of all, the hike, of course, it usually was 68 naira per 1 kilowatt of electricity.
Of energy, yeah.
But now it has increased from 68 naira to 225 naira. According to him, federal government removed the subsidy. Yes, federal government removed the subsidy from, and that the hike would only affect people who enjoy 20 hours electricity in a day.
Please explain that.
He said there's a way they grouped it. There's band A, band B, band C, band D, and band E. So those who enjoy 20 hours of electricity are in band A.
Where are those set of people?
Maybe you should ask him.
But it's true that. Where in Nigeria, in your own experience, can you be guaranteed of 20-hour uninterrupted power supply?
Well, I wouldn't know. I know I can only speak of my own area.
Your area falls into band E.
I asked him maybe there's band F. I think that's where I know too. But he said it only affects those people in band A, because these are the ones who enjoy 20 hours and electricity. He even said sometimes 24 hours, according to Emeka Eze, that they are the ones who are affected because federal government removed the subsidy. But other bands will continue to pay the same amount they usually pay. But that the hike is only for those in band A.
Quickly, thank you so much. Let's run through the papers. The Daily Independent is what we have next. PDP governors, North Central, caucus draw battle lines over parties chair. And the writer there says, governors root for Damagum, North Central eyes Mark, Sariki, and Suswan. Will be not in support of Abure's re-election as party chairman. That's coming from Yenusa. Nnamdi Kanu had to appeal court over alleged denial of fair hearing. Ibadan elders meet Ladoja to avert looming crisis over Olu Ibadan's too. Senate suspended Ningi, not me. Akpabio replies Falana. Rivers PDP caretaker committee list fake, says Fubora. Tinubu to ECOWAS rejects forces causing division in our community. And the writer there says backs direct elections into ECOWAS parliament, and Barrow emerges acting speaker of bloc's parliament. Key amendments Tinubu introduced into Student Loans Act, that's coming from the presidency. And then Transcorp grows top line by 57.03%, by profit by 75%. And quickly, Daily Trust, the last paper we have for review this morning. Bandit kills 7, abducts 13 family members in Kaduna and Federal Capital Territory. Release 51 hostages after 3 weeks in captivity. Military unveils identities of killed terrorist commanders. They must be proactive to end challenges. That's coming from the experts. Day 26, U.S. Muslim leaders reject iftar dinner after with Biden as anger over Gaza persists. 2024 Hajj, Hakon Airlines side agreement for airlift. Northern elders chide Tinubu over electricity tariff. And Kano files 8-count charge against Ganduje and wife and others. BUA donates 250 million building to Katsina Varsity. And then we have Barrow emerges as acting speaker of ECOWAS Parliament. Police escort dies on board Kaduna Abuja train. Wow. Quickly, just a minute. Each of you, let's round up. The opposition party, PDP, is still having this house of disarray. And then you begin to wonder, what lies the fate of this party? Anytime soon, Wike, Atiku. Now we are having their governors coming and they are even having issues over who becomes the party chairman. Quickly, AGK.
It goes to show that something is happening within the party. It's all about being able to manage their crisis in-house. Every political party has their own crisis. And then for them to be at loggerheads and at one point, it means something is happening within the party. At the end of it all, it's the only issue now is the timing. If it lingers on till when there's an election coming up, then it's a problem for them. But for them to be having such squabbles, I think it's a positive one for me.
Thank you so much. Quickly, bandits kill 7, abduct 13 family members in Kaduna FCT. Anytime soon, that we'll be hearing the end of all these bandit activities in Nigeria. Quickly before round up.
It has become a norm that every time we keep hearing insecurity at different levels. Every week, every day, you must hear one insecurity or the other at different level, different grade. So the federal government should work together with the state government to ensure that all these are being tackled. Let it be a past. We've outgrown hearing this news and giving us the assurance of state police. We've not seen any imputable, but I was even thinking that by now there should be the modality should come up for the state police that will help to cut down this insecurity.
Thank you so much. Well, that's the much you can say
Because of time, on today's press review, that's Friday the 5th of April, 2024. Well, special thanks goes to AGK Abana, our public affairs analyst. Thank you for being here today.
My pleasure.
And to you, Comrade Emandi Ezenagu, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
And well, we are not going anywhere. We'll just be taking a break and then go back to complete this discussion segment on Good Morning Anambra. I still remain Ajulu Chukwuka. We're saying thank you for watching. Have a nice weekend.